Hey everyone, Fan here, and today we're gonna be talking about Mega Man Arena. For those who don't know, Mega Man Arena is a fighting game that allows you to brawl it out with your friends as numerous Robot Masters. Mega Man Arena also has a variety of game modes to enjoy too, like All-Star and the recently added Stage Mode. Today, I'm here to make a general wishlist for Mega Man Arena, and hopefully most of them get in like last time. Without further ado, let's get to it! Before we get into the fighters, there's one thing that I want to clarify. For each fighter, I won't be showing everything about their movesets, because the ones from the Mega Man games already use their moves from their respective entry. However, I'll show things that are unique to them to make it more interesting. Now we can begin. First, I want Plugman. Even though he has a shallow pool of moves, Plugman can prove to be quite the opponent. His ability to send down projectiles from his high jump can cover a lot of ground. Of course, he would have some new moves up his sleeve. Plugman could have a move where he can just plug into any terrain and send out a lot of electric sparks on both sides of him. Just like Sparkman, he could also have an attack that stuns. When getting hit by his arm outlet, you would get stunned for about a second. This could also be a potential combo into his Plug Ball. However, due to his large body, Plugman wouldn't be able to slide, but maybe a dash could be possible. Slashman is next, and his arsenal would make him a very aggressive brawler. Unlike Plugman, Slashman has a lot of attacks he can use, like his Slash Claw and Goop Attack. I think it would be a really cool idea if he was able to use his moves in various ways. For example, being able to slash upwards and sideways depending on the D-pad input. Due to his aggressive moveset, I don't think it would be a great idea for him to combo into anything. I think Slashman having combos could shred HP really fast, and would give others a huge disadvantage. You know, it's cool that we recently got Megas 4 through 6, but I always found it weird that Mega 1 was never added. Like any variant, Mega 1 would have his weapons from the original game. This means that there's no Time Slow or Oil Slider. He also won't have the ability to slide and charge because it's Mega Man 1. We didn't have that back then. This fighter has a lot of potential with his arsenal, like using Guts Blocks defensively, dropping Hyper Bombs down with Magnet Beam, and much more. Just like Mega 2, Mega 1 would have a high skill ceiling. This means you gotta be very skilled to get the most out of him, which is something a lot of people, myself included, really like. We only have one Robot Master from Mega Man 8, so I think another one is in order, specifically Aquaman. He has a lot of moves, so his moveset is pretty much set. He has his water balloons, which can be aimed up for a short distance or low for long distances. He has his high jump, which can connect into a stomp that shoots out a stream of water, and he has a water cannon that shoots out water that can be directed up or down. Just like Slashman, this Robot Master's moveset would shine from how you control it. For example, being able to control the aforementioned water cannon by pressing up or down. However, due to his body shape, I don't see Aquaman being able to slide, or even dash. Another cool character that would be super cool to see is Duo. Originating in Mega Man 2 The Power Fighters, not Mega Man 8, Duo would be an interesting character to go up against. His Duo Fist gives him a good range, and being able to charge it makes it all the better. His Giant Knuckle, which would just be his up and S, would be great for initiating combos. Duo uppercuts the opponent in the air, and if he jumps with the opponent and presses the attack button again, he slams the opponent to the ground, dealing extra damage. His attacks from Mega Man 8 would also be there. His slam down attack would be present by pressing down and S1, but for his regular special, I feel like a dash punch would be cool. As for his meteor attack, this would just be a normal S2. It would feel common sense if it combo into itself just like how Gemini Laser does. If Duo bounces across a wall and a floor and hits an opponent, it's a combo. Even though he's a little complex, Duo would be the perfect character to play around with and have fun. Even in competitive situations, Duo would be quite handy. Last but not least, we have Torchman. We have a lot of melee characters in the game already, but there's one thing that most of them share in common. They use weapons. There is one exception, that being Hardman, and that's really cool. With a lot of attacks from his boss fight, Torchman's moveset would spark a lot of mines. His fire fists would cover a lot of ground due to them covering low and high areas, and his blazing torch dive would be great for gaining some distance as it knocks enemies very far. One thing's for sure, if it doesn't contain Torch Jitsu, then you might as well not include it. Torchman can also have some new moves like a 1-2 punch combo combined with a kick, or even a guard to tank some damage. There is one issue I see with Torchman. His power gear would be pretty hard to implement. If Torchman were to have a power gear, then I would make it similar to Mega Man's version. When used, Torchman would have about 5 seconds to deal really good damage with it before it overheats. The power gear would add some risk-reward factor into Torchman, which would make him shine from the rest of the roster. In Mega Man Arena, there is a mode where you can fight some bosses from Mega Man's 2 and 3, but there aren't many bosses to add, so let's add some variety in there to spice things up. First up is Metal Daddy from Mega Man 4. As simple as he may be, Metal Daddy provides a lot of challenge for melee and ranged brawlers. The stage before the fight could be the last room of Wily 1. It has an E-tank in case you need a little boost, and a large energy, but it won't be that useful since you start where said pickup screen is at. This boss would also be really fun in co-op. The bosses in this game have no iframes, so shredding through Metal Daddy when he's vulnerable would be really fun. A lot of bosses would fit well with Mega Man 5, but I'm choosing two specific ones that I think would fit perfectly. Darkman's 3 and 4. Unlike the other two Darkmen, these two actually put up some form of a fight. Sure, Darkman 3 is cheesable, but I believe the devs can do something about that. After all, they nerfed Mecha Dragon so you don't fall off the platforms when you get knocked back, so I think they can do it with Darkman 3. As for Darkman 4, I think something interesting can happen for him. What if he got another phase? After all, he is the last boss of a fortress. For this phase, I could see him expanding his combined powers of the Darkmen a lot more. I like that he uses the Darkman 1 bullets, but I think the barriers from Darkman 2 can go. Instead, let's give him a dash attack that goes really fast. Of course, this can be telegraphed by him getting ready to dash. I really like how Darkman 3's high jump is kept, but we can also combine that with his rapid fire style. He could even do it on the ground too, but in a way that players can dodge the bullets. Now, what about those stages? Well, Darkman 4 is pretty obvious, the entire stage is one huge vertical section, but Darkman 3 is a little interesting. The last room is a snake block section requiring you to keep up. It is a pretty good challenge, but there's no pickups to collect, which is usually solved by placing a secret in the level. I feel like this secret would be placed in the end, above the boss gate. It would contain a 1-up because this boss is a little easy. In general, Darkman's 3 and 4 would be great representatives of Mega Man 5 due to how popular they are, and also the potential with them. Next is Spike Pushers. This Wily boss is one of the more interesting ones because you need to use your arsenal of weapons to gain an advantage over the boss. In Mega Man Arena, not only would this be true, but there would be a lot more strategies to defeat Spike Pushers. For example, Flashman could stop time to get a breather from the pressure. As for the stage, I would say it should start right after the hard-ass rooms with the magma generators. In that room, there's an E-tank that can be grabbed by using Laser Trident, but that would have to be tweaked around a little bit, but I'm sure that will be an easy fix. You know, it would be cool if the Game Boy games got some representation, and I think Hunter would be just the boss. Even though Giant Suzy would be a more popular choice, it would be unfair to fighters who can't slide due to his leaping attack. Hunter has two variants, his crawling and his bouncing version. Depending on the variant, Hunter will duplicate itself in either seconds or instantly. They also speed up when they take a lot of hits, which can cause some form of panic. I would want both versions to be the boss itself, but there are a couple ways this could go. There could either be a stage followed by the bosses themselves, or one stage face the first boss, followed by another stage with the other boss. If we are going for the latter option, the first stage could be from this room to the boss fight. and the second stage could take place in the last room to the second boss fight, aka this room right here. If the former was chosen, then the stage to the first boss fight would be chosen. For both choices, Hunter would drop a big health as some support for the second boss. Game Boy 4 has a lot of great choices to represent for the handheld series, but I personally think that Hunter would be a great choice despite how underrated they are. Before going into this category, I will not be going into detail about EX stages. I'll still talk about them, but not the enemies, hazards, and more. I'll only talk about what it would look like as well as the potential they have. With that being said, let's get started. First up is Airman. Airman's stage gives players different ways to zoom through the level. You can take your time and get through the stage unharmed, or take a risk and use your fighter's moveset to get through parts of the stage in a satisfying way. The boss itself needs to be changed though. The tornado patterns are always a pain to maneuver, so some changes to them would be great. As for the EX stages, the Wily Wars and Power Fighters could bring some inspiration to the level's looks. I also think it would be a cool idea if the last portion of the stage takes a sunset aesthetic. It adds a nice value of charm to the whole package. Maybe Airman can use some attacks from the Power Fighters too. Next is Centaur Man's level. This stage would be interesting for a lot of reasons. First of all, the EX stage would have a lot to take from the original stage, like the Chokoro and the submarine flyers. The visuals of the stage are also breathtaking, whether you're taking it slow or fast. The alternate aesthetic, the red and white palette, could also serve as some form of inspiration for the EX stage's visuals. I could also see Centaur Man using his Centaur Arrow from the power battle in the EX fight as a cool reference. Strike Man's level is next, and I see great things with this level. Fighting the goalkeeper with different characters can be a lot of fun, and Strike Man himself will keep every fighter moving with his rebound striker. As for his EX stage, I could see some more sports being involved. I know baseball is the main thing, but the stage also features other references to sports. There are some basketball hoops and enemies that shoot some soccer ball-like projectiles, and footballs. Maybe some dodgeball or tennis elements would be cool to see. You know what I think would be cool? If some Wily stages got added. Of course, I don't think EX stages would be thought of, so I won't talk about them for these stages. But if they did get added someday, it would be great! And what stage would be better off to start with than Wily 1 from Mega Man 2? Aside from how popular the level is, the stage forces weapon usage from Mega Man. Even though he'll have an easy time, other characters won't. Even though a Rush Coil summoner could be present, the level may still need to be tweaked a little bit to make it playable for each character. But other than that, the stage would be fine to add. As for Mecha Dragon, it would be no problem at all. It's already a boss in another mode, so just port the dragon over to the stage with the tweaks for melee characters and we're all set. Another popular stage that could be added is Cossack 2 from Mega Man 4. This level also requires weapon usage, but unlike Wily 1, there's no need for tweaking the level because Rush Jet summoners could easily fix the situation. Something special about Cossack 2 is that it doesn't focus on enemy combat, but rather platforming. This alone would make the stage unique and fun to speedrun with a lot of mobility characters. Square Machine would also be a fun boss to fight. However, I could see a bunch of cheese with characters like Pharaoh Man and Dive Man, but the barriers could just deflect the projectiles. Starting off, we have Fanni from Mega Man 2. This enemy blows you away from it, which, if you're not careful, could lead to a nasty fall. In this case, you'll be blown away into other enemies, which would add some value to this fat foe. It can even add some panic, which can lead to some very funny moments. It's a little weird to me that we only have 3 Big Eye variants. The Big Eye himself, Jump Big, and Power Stomper. So here's 2 variants that I want added. Big Stomper and Surare Stamp. Big Stomper is from Mega Man 9, who works the same way as Big Eye from Mega Man 1. He has a high and low jump, though the low jump covers more distance. The Surare Stamp is a bit different. Originating from Mega Man 10, this enemy's actions depend on what you do. If you jump, he will do a big leap, but if you don't jump, he will do a normal hop. This would allow some manipulation to get around this enemy, which could make things a lot easier. As for Big Stomper, the reason was previously stated. we need to add more Big Eye variants, and this guy along with Super Stamp would be great to add. Next is Kaizak from Mega Man 8 and Mega Man in Base. This enemy has multiple variants that can be included. First, there's the walking variant, which is self-explanatory. It walks back and forth. Then, there's the swinging variant, which would be the trickiest to add. They swing back and forth on a cord, or a Thunderclaw pole in Mega Man 8, and throw bombs at you. Finally, there's a version that sends mini Kazaks to attack. Even though the swinging variant would be hard to add, all three variants would be cool to see because it would be one of the first enemies to attack in multiple ways. I know Game Boy 5 is a very iconic game, thus having only enemies from that game, but I feel like there's some other enemies that should be in the spotlight too. The Cutting Wheel is one of those enemies. Originating from Dr. Wily's Revenge, this enemy has three forms. It can stand still, roll in one direction, or chase after Mega Man. Out of these three options, I would like to see the chasing version the most. Like most enemies, Cutting Wheel would encourage the player to not camp on the platforms, because in order to progress, you need to kill every enemy. It can also spawn by a portal and through the corridors in every level. I would also like to see Gunner Joe from Mega Man World 4. This Sniper Joe chases you in a spacecraft and attempts to gun you down. It's a simple chasing enemy, but it'll be very effective in the Elevator Gauntlet. It would be one of those enemies that you have to make as first priority, or else it would be a big nuisance. It would also allow fighters who can't reach Gunner Joe to improvise with their moveset. The last Game Boy enemy I want to see is Boys from Mega Man World 5. This enemy uses his spring to extend himself to hit for contact damage. He always stays on the ceiling, so you need to watch your head. But wait, that can't work in elevator mode. There's no ceiling! Well, I have a solution. Make it walk on the floors and walls. That way, the enemy can still keep its function, but still be a threat at the same time. Even though it's withered away in Saturn's level, I think it would be a fun enemy to see in elevator mode. Plus, it would be unique to the enemies that are stationed on the walls like beaks and wall cannons. A cool mid-boss, or should I say mid-bosses, that I would like to see are Suzak and Phoenix from Mega Man 10. Both birds cover the two sides of the screen, one on the top left and the other on the bottom right. They have two moves up their sleeves. First, the top bird can shoot 3 fireballs that surround the arena. Second, they can dash across the screen just like Heatman. They can also alternate up and down, and you must beat the two birds to progress. This pair can be deadly for the same reason as Gunner Joe. If it's not your first priority, things will get deadly. We also need to see more enemies from Mega Man 10, and I believe that Suzak and Phoenix, along with the aforementioned Super Stamp, can fix this problem. Finally, there's Hana-Birin from Mega Man 9. This flower is a mid-boss in Hornet Man stage that pops up in the ground, shoots a couple petals, disappears, and reappears in another location. There's also this rotating clock hand, but that would be unnecessary. The flower itself would be fine. As for where Hana-Birin would spawn, I think the best option would be the center of the two platforms and the two corners of the bottom platform. As much as I hate this mini-boss, it would be a nice addition because it would push the player to its limits and force some pressure in the later levels. A cool idea for skins is the Megamix variants of Robot Masters. I know not all of them would be added, but here are some that would be a great pick. Metal Man would be obvious. Like, it's Metal Man. He's so popular that everyone would go to him if they think of any Robot Master. A really weird pick is Skull Man. His design is very skinny, but it would be interesting to see how he would move and shoot with his buster. Last but not least, Megamix Mars would be badass. Just by looking at his eyes, you can tell he does not fuck around. Megamix Pluto also works just as well. Next, I want more accessibility for replays. I'm talking rewind and fast forward. Right now, all you can do is pause, which sucks if you want to screenshot something like a cool pose or a cool standoff with your opponent. If you missed the cool thing, all you can do is restart the footage, which is gonna get annoying really fast. And maybe if that footage is far out there, it's gonna be a slog to watch all of that replay. There could also be other features like zoom in and zoom out, but I mostly care about rewind and fast forward. Last but certainly not least, Boss Endurance Mode. This would be a new boss mode where players would endlessly fight bosses that are randomly selected, and your job is to survive as long as you can. After every boss, you'll be granted a large health to keep going to the next one. To increase the difficulty, I believe that bosses should deal more damage to ramp things up. It would be really cool to see how far you could go and see if you can improve from that, especially for characters like Crashman. Man, that number would be really high. And this concludes the wish list. Hopefully in the near future, all of these wishes can become reality. If it worked for Mega Man Maker, I'm sure it can happen here too. But with that being said, what are your wishes for Mega Man Arena? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to discuss it with you all. Just as a little reminder, a post regarding the channel's first anniversary just came out a couple weeks ago, and it's about a Q&A that I'm hosting. So if you want a question answered, check it out and ask down below. With that being said, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe to see more Mega Man Arena content in the near future. Until next time, I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.